Hello, welcome back to Project Mastery Podcast. We'll be covering the powers of a project manager in today's episode. Let us talk about legitimate power. Legitimate power is one of the power of a project manager. It's called positional authority. This is a power that's going to come from the formal role. You are formally authorized by the organization as a project manager. This is going to be a formal role. You are formally given the ability to make decisions, you can assign tasks, you can influence outcomes based on organization position. This power enables the project manager to assign work, set priorities, enforce process, provide structure, ensure that team members follow the defined plan. This is a positional power. Teams comply because of project manager's official role. Example, a project manager assigns a developer to work on a module A because it is critical to the milestone deadline. Another example we can talk about is that you are going to approve or reject a change request to the integrated change control process, or you have the power to call for a project status review meeting with mandatory attendance. We'll move on to the next power, which is called reward power. Reward power means the ability to recognize and reward team members. You have the ability to recognize the team members, you have the ability to praise them, provide them bonus, give recommendations, give promotions, motivate the team to perform better. This stems from the ability to recognize team performance. Rewards can be financial or non-financial. We are going to use this power, encourage positive behavior and boost team morale. This is a motivational power best used to reinforce desirable outcomes. Example, you are recognizing a tester in a team meeting for finding critical bugs before release. Another example is you are recommending a high-performing engineer for a bonus or promotion. Another example we can take is offering the team flexible work from home days as a reward for meeting a tough deadline. The next power we can talk about is coercive power. It's also called coercive or punitive power. This power means you have the ability to penalize poor performance, example warnings, negative evaluation, withholding rewards. Should be used carefully to avoid damaging morale, because this is a power that will definitely damage the morale of the team. Based on the authority, you are going to penalize or discipline poor performance. It's useful for enforcing accountability and deadlines when critical. Must be used sparingly, as it may lower team trust and create resistance. This is a corrective power, important but risky if overused. Example, issuing a formal warning to a vendor who consistently misses delivery dates. Another example is you are going to reallocate work from a team member who repeatedly fails to meet quality standards. We can take up another example. You may escalate repeated delays to senior management for disciplinary action. We move on to the next power, which is called expert power. This comes from the project manager's knowledge, project manager's skills, project manager's experience. You build respect, credibility, especially in technical projects. It comes from the project manager's knowledge, skill and experience, combination of all three. This power is going to build trust, credibility. It is also going to offer the strong, most sustainable form of influence. This is a respect driven power. Teams follow the project manager because of expertise. Example, a project manager with strong agile expertise can guide the team on sprint planning best practices. Or with this power, you are troubleshooting a technical bottleneck by applying your project management specialist knowledge. Another example is you are going to train the project team on earned value management techniques for better tracking. We move on to the next power, which is called referent power. Referent power is a power based on charisma. It's power based on trust. It's a power based on personal influence. Team members follow the project manager out of admiration or respect. This power is derived from trust, respect and personal charisma. This power creates loyalty and voluntary alignment with the project manager's vision. This power is going to strengthen the collaboration and long-term relationship. This is a relationship driven power. People follow the project manager because they want to. Let's take an example. Team members voluntarily stay late to help the project manager meet a client deadline because they respect and trust the project manager. A project manager inspires cross-functional collaboration by leading with charisma and fairness, even without using formal authority. Another example we can take is inspiring collaboration by leading with fairness, charisma and empathy. A balanced project manager knows how to apply the right power in the right situation, leaning more on expert and referent power for long-term success, while using legitimate and reward power for authority and coercive power only when necessary. We can classify these powers into two categories. One is the positional power. This type of power comes from the project manager's formal position or title within the organization. Whatever that we discussed, especially legitimate power, reward power and coercive power, come under positional power. Let's talk about one more example of all these three powers. Legitimate power example, we can say I have a legitimate power when I am designated as a project manager. I can approve the team members' timesheet for a specific project code. The approval is a formal step required by the organization and it is tied up to my assigned role in the project. We can take an example of the reward power. On a large-scale software implementation project, the team delivered a critical module 2 weeks ahead of schedule. Using your reward power, you can recommend them for a public recognition at the next town hall meeting. The reward doesn't have to be monetary. It can be extra paid time off or a coveted training opportunity. Another example of coercive power. An example of coercive power is if a team member consistently misses deadlines without valid reason and fails to communicate impediments, you can use coercive power by documenting the performance issues and formal review, escalate the matter to a functional manager, or in extreme cases recommend his or her removal from the project. This is a power you need to use very sparingly and as a last resort. We have understood that legitimate, reward and coercive, these three powers are categorized as positional power. We spoke about other powers of a project manager which are categorized under personal power. Personal power is a type of power that's going to come from the project manager's individual characteristics, individual knowledge, individual reputation. This is the most effective, sustainable type of power in a modern collaborative environment, especially in agile teams. We spoke about expert power, which is a personal power. Another example of expert power is during a technical sprint planning session, the development team is struggling to decide between two different database technologies. You can use your expert power to draw on your 30 years experience with similar IT projects to explain the long-term scalability and maintenance implications of each option, guiding them towards the most practical choice. The team is going to listen to you because they trust your expertise. We move on to the next power which we already spoke about, which is called referent power. Referent power comes under personal power category. This is also power that is gained from respect and admiration. Let's take up another example of a referent power. A key stakeholder is a strongly built CEO who is resistant to change. Instead of relying on your formal title, you can use the referent power. You have built a reputation for developing successful projects and being a straight shooter. When you need to influence a tough decision, you can walk into the office and say, you have led similar projects, and based on experience, this approach is the most effective way to hit the target date. They are more likely to listen because they have a high level of respect for you and your track record. Building referent power is the ultimate form of influence in an agile team because it is built on a foundation of trust, respect, admiration, not on your title. You need to build referent power. Let's talk about few key concepts about building referent power in your career. You have to be a role model. You cannot ask your team to do something you are not willing to do yourself. If you expect them to be on time, you must be the first person available in the meeting. If you preach transparent communication, you must be the most transparent person on the team, openly sharing both good news and bad news. Team will not respect your position, they will respect you if you stand as a role model. You have to mentor generously, you have to coach generously. You have to mentor the team members, help them develop the skills, grow their careers. You have to actively listen to their professional goals and provide them with opportunities and guidance. You show that you are genuinely interested in their career and their success. This is going to create a deep level of loyalty and respect. When a team member knows you are always at their back and you have invested in their future, they will move mountains for you and the project. You have to always practice transparency and honesty. Referent power is built on trust. Trust is built on honesty. Even when a project is facing a major roadblock or stakeholders are unhappy, you have to be transparent with the team about the situation. You have to own your mistakes and admit when you don't have all the answers. This is going to build a powerful connection. It signals that you are a real person, not an unapproachable figure. It encourages the team to be honest and open with you in return. You need to fight for your team. You should be the biggest advocate. When there's a disagreement with a stakeholder or any resource conflict, you need to stand up for your team. Shield them from unnecessary bureaucracy and protect them from unfair blame. When the team sees that you are willing to fight for them, they will give you their unwavering respect and effort. Finally, you should also celebrate team success. You should celebrate the team's accomplishments. You should celebrate their small accomplishments, big accomplishments. A simple thank you in a public forum or a team lunch to celebrate a successful sprint or an email to senior management highlighting a team member's specific contribution goes a long way. This makes the team feel valued and reinforces their admiration for leadership. Building referent power is a slow, cumulative process that requires consistent behavior and genuine care for your team. It's a key reason why some project managers are simply managers while others are true leaders. We have covered the key concepts related to the powers of project manager, that every power has got its own merits and demerits, and you need to exercise the right power based on the right situation. We have come to the end of the episode. Hope the knowledge was valuable. Thank you for tuning in.